Hey, I'm Jake, and today I'm talking about Skyheart and how to formulate your pitch for your Kickstarter project. Alright, it's been a while since I've done one of these videos, and I just want to say it's because I've been so busy. Putting together a Kickstarter is like a Herculean task. It really, there's so many things you got to remember and you got to do if you want to like do it right and do it well. And I, even like a week into it, I'm realizing there's stuff I should have done differently and I should have done better. So that said, I skipped 1 week posting a video because I was just prepping the Kickstarter. And then I spent a full day or day and a half making my Kickstarter video, which you can watch. It's my last video. And actually, that's what I'm going to talk about today is the pitch. How do you pitch your project? And how do you make that video? So we're going to go into that. But first, I want to show you my last batch of Skyheart artwork that I made before launching the project. All right. Okay, so here is Wake being chased by an armasaur, I think is what it's called. Arma is Latin for armor, and saur is Latin for lizard, I believe, something like that. Anyways, not because he doesn't have arms, but he's called an armasaur because of his thick armor. Getting towards the end of October, I was like, what do I draw? I am out of things to draw. And I'm sure those of you who've done Inktober know that feeling. One of the things I found is you can start if you're following a particular like subject matter or topic. You can start broad and then just go deeper and deeper and like more specific. So with this one, I thought, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll do my characters in like perilous situations. So this was Wake getting chased by the armasaur. Here's Yana. She's being attacked by like some beast from the core. He's punching the ground and launched her up in the air, and she's gonna, she only has one arrow left. She's got to find like the perfect spot to hit it. Here is Limburg, and he's getting chased by some like creepy little bug thing. This is a little too cartoony, maybe. I probably could make. No, it's fun. It's fun. This right here is Grim, and he just took a chunk out of one of the bolt ship wings. And I want to show him that he's like, he's a fighter too. He can take charge. This is a design for the pirate ship, the pirate airship. They run into some pirates, Wake and Yana do in the story early on, when they set off on their adventure. And here's where the pirates have captured Grim, and they're gonna like sell him on the black market, and so they have to save him from the pirates. The ship, I thought it'd be cool if these things fly out, like they store them in here and then they fly out. This is Wake looking out over the abyss at. I already showed these, didn't I? Whatever, you're seeing them again now. This is Wake looking at Everett's like lighthouse. I needed a wide image for a bookmark I want to make, and for to post on like my Facebook and my Twitter and my Tumblr like banner section. When you come to the website, I wanted to have a Skyheart image that was widescreen. So this is my image that I did for that, and it's really based off of let me find drawings one. Here we go. Based off of, if you got this book, or you can get, this book's actually sold out, but you can get a PDF of it. If you have this book, go flip through it, and there's a section back here where I was working on early Skyheart development art a couple of years ago. Back then, Wake was going to be a boy, like a preteen or maybe a tween. There you can kind of see this lighthouse design that I was working on. But here is my team, and I really like this like pose with him standing on top of Grimm, and she's behind him, and he's like in the foreground. And so when I updated the characters, I want to do an updated, better version of this. And I didn't like this background. I wanted the background to be cool too. So I drew these guys at like this crumbling temple area. So there's that. And then for the last image for Inktober, I wanted to do like a quiet scene with these guys resting. Grimm's sleeping, Wake's like nuzzled up to him, Lindbergh's just chilling on top, and Yana is like the responsible one, and she's taking watch, making sure no one sneaks up on them in the night. And so at some point I'll color this up. I like it. It's like you got the action stuff, but then there's also like quiet moments, and this is representing that. Then I also have like some color versions here. I did a color version of Yana, and here's another action pose of Lindbergh. And this I'm using my Copic markers and some colored pencils to get that look. And then here's Wake jumping in the air. So yeah, that's what I've been working on with this. Launched the project last week. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out, and please consider backing it. This is the bookmark design that I'm coming up with. Once I hit the goal, I think I'm just going to throw in these bookmarks as like an extra thing. This will be like my announcement. Congratulations, thank you so much. This thing's funded, and I'm going to print out these bookmarks and give bookmarks to everybody with everything. So I'm going to wait and do that until when it funds. It's at like 61,000 right now. I just need 17,000 more dollars, and we'll get there. All right, so you want to pitch your project for Kickstarter, whether it's a graphic novel or a film or an album. Your pitch is key, and you have to nail it. Okay, there's 4 key elements to your pitch, and these are the elements that are going to really give you a backbone for your pitch, and just help people understand what you're doing, and really convince them to part with their cash to help support you do your thing. First element, ready for this? It's the narrative. And by narrative, I don't mean what is your story about, like say you're working on a graphic novel, what's the story of your graphic novel? I don't mean that. The narrative is, what is your story? What are the events that brought you to this point to launch a Kickstarter? Okay, so part of your narrative is going to be why why this project right now, what has been stopping you from taking on this project, why do you need to use Kickstarter to get this project done. That's all a part of your narrative, and the more compelling you can make that story, the better it is. The more relatable you can be, the better it is, because people want to know what your story is. So my story for Skyheart, the key thing to this too is your story has to be true. You can't just make up a narrative. It has to be true. You can embellish it some, you can emphasize some parts over another, but it has, at the core of it, has to be a true story. You have to tell a good story about why you're here. My story for Skyheart is, I've told it before, but basically this is the project I've always wanted to work on. I've been afraid to do it because I felt like I wasn't good enough. I feel like I'm good enough now, but I need the time and the resources to work on it because I've got this family to support. I've got to support a family. I've got to pay bills, and so I take on freelance work to do those things. And the freelance work always takes precedent over my personal projects. And Kickstarter is a way for me to get the funding that I need so that I can put my personal project in front and use freelance as backup instead of the other way around. Okay, so that's my narrative. Next one is credibility. Okay, you need to explain exactly why you are qualified to do this project. What have you worked on in the past that says this is what, that says you can do this thing? What what in your personality or in your skill set or in your desires makes you the person to do this project and can prove to people that you'll carry through on this project. So for me, it was saying, well, here's my credibility. I've worked in animation for 10 years or 15 years, whatever. I've been a freelance, or not a freelance artist, but I've been a working artist for 15 years. Actually, it's been 17 years. And I've worked on everything from animation to children's books to comics. I've done full-on graphic novels. I've done Kickstarters before. I've done personal, self-publishing. These are all things that basically say, I'm the man for the job, trust me. Okay, so that's what you got to do. Tell your story, tell why you're the one to do it, and then, sorry, bumped the camera there. Next element is clarity, okay? This is so important. Sometimes you'll come to a Kickstarter page or you watch a video, and halfway through the video, you still might not know exactly what they're asking for. Like, what exactly what am I supposed to back here? You have to be clear, straight up front, tell them what this project is all about. So explain exactly what you want to do and your plan to accomplish it and what you want the backers to do, why you need those backers. Okay, so for me, the clarity is, on this project, I want to create the Skyheart graphic novel. It's a book that's going to be this many pages. It's going to cost this much to print. It's going to cost this much to draw it and produce it. And I need this much money to pay for all of this. And that's why I'm here, and that's why I need you, is for this funding. Very clear, very clean, and you want to say it like as close to, I don't know if you have to say it as close to the front as possible, but it has to be a major part of your pitch. You can't forget that part. Okay, and then lastly, most important thing is the ask. Okay, the ask is a straightforward appeal for support for this project. Okay, you need to basically just, you can't just present it and say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to have happen. I think in a pitch you really do need to say, will you please consider backing my project? Will you please support me? I need your help. Okay, you got to ask them that. And I think that is probably the most important part, because it's humbling and it shows that you're human, and it shows that you need someone, and it shows that people have an option or an opportunity to help you. All right, so these are the four key elements for your pitch. Okay, so this next part is questions that I've asked myself and questions that your pitch needs to answer. This is going in a little bit more specific on just those broad, 4 key elements. This is specific questions that the pitch should probably answer. So first question is, why this story? All right, and also, why do I want to tell it, and why does it need to be told? Okay, so if it's not a graphic novel that you're doing, why this project? Answer that question. Say, it's this project because I don't want to work on anything else, or there's I feel like this is the right time, or I feel like I'm finally ready. Answer that question, and that's going to help make your pitch feel more personal and more real. Okay, the next one, who am I? This goes into that credibility thing. Who am I? What are my credentials? Why am I the guy to do it? And that's just a part of introducing yourself to people who don't know you, who haven't met you before. This is the first time they've been exposed to your work. Explain who you are. You're an artist, you're a musician, you're a writer, you're whatever. this is what you've been doing for the last few years. This is what you've accomplished. Just tell people who you are. Again, it's a way to make it very personal. And then explain why you're the guy to do it. That's part of the credibility thing. Well, the reason I'm the person to do this project is because I've done 100 of these things before, and now I want to do one for myself, something like that. Okay, what is the story? Now, in my pitch, I didn't go deep into the story. A lot of it was just being told through the imagery, but on my page, my Kickstarter page, I did go into it. And you don't have to go super deep into the story and explain everything, just enough to get people excited. If you think about a movie trailer, a good movie trailer, it gets you excited, but it doesn't reveal all the major plot points. So what do you want to do with the story? You just want to say, this is the world that this story exists in. These are the characters that are going to be playing the parts in this world, and this is the conflict. And if you think about, I look at the new Star Wars film trailers, those are perfect. They don't tell you anything about the story, just enough to get you excited. It says, this is the world, we're in the Star Wars universe. It's clearly not the prequel universe. This is an extension of episodes 4, 5, and 6 that we're getting into. They established that with, these beautiful David Lean, cinematic shots, right, of these deserts and different, there's a snow planet they go to and whatever. Anyways, they establish the world. They say, these are the characters. There's going to be this guy who's the next stormtrooper. There's this girl who's trapped on this planet. She's scrounging for supplies. We don't know her story though, but we know this is our character. There's a guy, here's Han Solo, here's Chewbacca, here's Leia. We've got all these people here. These are our characters. And then the conflict's obvious. There's the Empire, or what's left of the Empire, and then there's this resistance fighting against it, trying to stop it. And that's all we need to know. I'm on board for that. We're ready to go. Okay, so for me, what I did, if you go to my Kickstarter page, you can see I described the world. I showed the actual drawing of the world. It's this world that's crumbling, falling apart. Here are the characters. Wake, Yana, Limburg, Grimm. This is what they're doing. And the conflict is I explained a little bit that Wake's trying to save his mother, but there's this bigger, broader picture where there's actually a fight for the world itself. And these 4 characters sort of get caught up in the middle of that. So that's that. It's brief, it's basic. You don't have to say, okay, in Act 1 this happens. In Act 2 we go through all these situations. And then in Act 3 it resolves itself this way. You don't have to do that. Okay, what's the scope of the project? People want to know what exactly you're going to do here. So what are you physically making? You might go to a project and it might be confusing because they haven't told you exactly what they're making. Is this a physical book or is it a digital book? Is this something I'm actually going to receive in the mail, or is it going to be something that shows up in my inbox? You have to tell people what you're physically actually going to be doing. So for me, I'm physically making an actual book that's going to be printed and shipped to your door. What will be delivered and when? This book will be delivered with a bookmark, hopefully, by this date. Be very clear on that. And then what kind of rewards or other things go along with that. So you may have already done your rewards things. You can just refer people, look at the rewards, or you can talk a little bit about the rewards. It's up to you. Okay, so that's that. How much money do you need? That's very important and very clear. We talked about how do you figure out how much money you need for a Kickstarter, but you need to tell people how much money you need and what it's going to be used for. Break it down very specifically. This amount of money goes to printing. This amount of money goes to production. This amount of money goes to shipping. This amount of money goes to fees. Those are the kinds of things people want to know. And I believe that's it, okay? These are the questions your pitch needs to answer, questions you should be asking yourself. Remember the 4 key elements: your narrative, what's your story, your credibility, why you're the person for the job, clarity, what exactly are you pitching and trying to make, and then the ask. that emotional appeal, that appeal to people to support your project. And I believe that is it. Those are the elements of the pitch. You can go watch my video and see exactly how I did it myself, and that'll give you a good idea on what what's a standard. I guess a standard that you should look to for what a Kickstarter video should look like and should be. I'm going to talk a little bit now about my setup in how I actually shot my video, and I think that's it. Alright, so I just want to talk a little bit about my setup for shooting this video. As you can see here, I've got a couple of lights to light my studio. This is the other side. As you can see here, it just kind of fills this room with light. This is a basement studio, so I don't have a window in here or anything. So it can get quite dark, so that's why I got these lights for that. So those are the lights. This is my setup behind me where I draw, and I wanted this to be the backdrop for my video. You can see I posted all my Skyheart, or some of my Skyheart artwork on the walls as like a backdrop, just to help make the video more cohesive to the thing I'm talking about. The visuals behind me are talking about it. The visuals I'm superimposing on the video are all talking about the project. All that goes into reinforcing the idea that you're trying to share. All right. This right here is my camera setup, and you can see I've got a Canon S120, perfectly good camera. That's what I've been shooting all my videos on. Highly recommend it. And then this is my script. The script, in order for it to sound natural, I based it on what I was saying naturally. I went through it 10 or 20 times, practicing it and saying it, and then I would write the script based on what was naturally coming out of my head at that time. So the problem is because I'm shooting it myself, I might have said something great on one take, but the camera may have been shaking or the lighting was bad, and so the reason I want that script nailed down is so that I can say the thing I exactly want to say and get a good shot of it. And so that's the reason for the script, and to make sure that it's concise and tight, because I have a tendency to ramble and go on, and this video had to be quick, and so I wanted the script to say everything I needed to say but still sound natural. Okay, there's one last thing that's actually pretty important, and I cannot overstate how much this will help your video, and that is have good audio. Invest in a microphone. Microphones come, there's super expensive ones, and then there's some affordable ones that can actually really add to the polish of your video. A video guy once told me, he said, you know what, you'd be surprised at how much a difference the audio makes. You can have so-so video but really clean and good audio, and it looks like a much higher production than if you have solid video, amazing video, and no one can really hear what you're saying, or it sounds like you're 1,000 miles away, or you're trapped inside a closet. So get a good microphone. This is the one I use. It is an AT2020 USB microphone, and I got it on Amazon, and it's worked great. I've recorded my classes on it, podcasts, I Skype with it, recording video or recording audio for my videos. It's a great little microphone. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you haven't checked it out yet, please go to my Kickstarter page and check it out. The link is below. I know it's going great. I couldn't have asked for a better first week of the Kickstarter. It's at $61,000, $17,000 left to try and get backed before it's funded. So it's running along nicely. I still, though, these things live and die by word of mouth, and I feel like I'm just scratching the surface on people who have seen this project. And so I need people to share it, tell their friends about it, post about it, whether it's through text or through email or just sharing it on Facebook. All of that stuff helps. Last week I felt like I almost went overboard, like sharing it. I did multiple posts every day across all the social media platforms. I was like worried, are people going to be like too annoyed with me? All I'm talking about is Skyheart. And still at the end of the week, people were saying to me, oh, I had no idea you were launching a Kickstarter. This is awesome. This is great. So what I'm recognizing is, and this is true for me too, people are just busy and they're not always online and they've got lives to live. And sometimes a post or an announcement will happen when they're not online. And that's how things get missed. And so it's just a matter, I think it's just like a numbers game, right? The more people share it and get it out there, the better chance the project has at getting the exposure that it needs to be funded and to really get into, I guess, people's consciousness that this thing is going on and happening. So please share it. If you haven't already, check it out. And I just want to say thanks to the 1,100 people already who have backed the project. You guys are amazing. I really do appreciate this like early support. It means a lot to me. And I think that's it for today. Talk to you guys next week.